Okay, so this is my Farm Play prop box presentation for you. I wanted to start off with the books that I chose. I don't have copies of them. I did post links to the 3 books that I chose to like a YouTube video. The books are being read, and so they're really good books. The first one is called Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. It's a comical book. It's written by Doreen Cronin. Discusses how farm animals get products and in a comical way. And it's a back and forth communicating by typing letters to the farmer asking for various things. So it's a really cute book. It will be a very engaging book to talk and humorous farm play engagement. And then the other 2 books that I chose, one is called The Milk Makers by Gail Gibbons, and it's a nonfiction book, and it pertains to how cows make milk, how they eat, what they eat, and how the milk gets from the farm to the grocery store. Sorry. The third book is Chicks and Chickens by Gail Gibbons also, and it's a nonfiction book about how chickens give eggs and how the eggs get from the farm to the grocery store. And so in my box, I wanted to start out with saying that I have this box that would not fit into the box, but I didn't want to give it up. It's just the perfect box for a chicken coop. And so I've got a little chicken coop. Inside the box there was packing material of little foam, and I'm able to use that as a divider. I did make a little chicken. It's just a yogurt cup that's covered with some fabric, and then I found some cutouts. I just colored them. I didn't want to use my printer ink for that, and glued it on, and so I have a cute little chicken to set in the nest. I purchased some hay, but I don't think I want to use it. It would be pretty messy, but it would be a perfect nest. I haven't totally decided, but if it was outdoors, I think I would go for it. But I think this weekend it's going to be too hot to play outdoors, so I might forego this straw and use it for a fall decoration. When I was at Hobby Lobby, I did find some Easter paper shred that's for Easter baskets that I could use for the nest, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And to go along with the chicken coop, I found an egg carton that they can fill up after they gather the eggs from the chicken coop. I did find an egg basket, and I found some paper mache eggs that they'll be able to use. So one of the themes for this play is to doing chores on the farm. So one of the chores would be being in charge of the chicken coop and gathering the eggs. And when they do that, they can use the egg log. I've got a printable egg log that can count the number of eggs that they gathered, and that'll be one of the chores. Another chore on the farm would be to groom the horses, and so I have this little hobby horse that they can use a brush on and groom the horse that way. And then in my box I also have a couple of stuffed animal horses that can be groomed for one of the chores. Inside of my box I have the little toy. I think it may be a Little Tikes Fisher or Fisher Price barn. And inside of the barn, I have these little waffle cubes that can be used to make like a fence for a pig. And so I have that. I also have a couple of bags of farm animals, and these can be used to place in in the pen, or they also can pretend to feed the farm animals. And I don't know if this is going to show or not, but I have these little paper trays, and one of them can be used to put the silo on. I made a silo out of a soda pop bottle and a Bill Miller's plastic cup and a tongue depressor and a rubber band. It's really easy to make. And I have popcorn to place in the silo. You fill it up, the kids can fill it up, and take their tongue depressor and empty out the silo. I also have a little cup here so that the popcorn can come out of the little hole, depending on how much they put in there. And they can use their little tractor to gather the grain, or they can use pretend to feed their animals. So that's another chore that they can do on the farm. So if they make the pig pen out of the waffle cones, I have a little pig for them to play with. It's just a shoebox wrapped in fabric. I found these little animal faces at Hobby Lobby. You can find things to print on your printer, but I didn't want to use ink, so this was a real simple way. It's already cut out. You can glue it at the end of your box. I put some little caps from spray bottles on the bottom for the feet. And so another chore on the farm is to shear the sheep. And this is just a shoebox that's wrapped in quilting batting. You could use regular paper, and you could also use cotton balls. I have some stuffing that you'd put in a stuffed animal. I have a potato smasher, and the kids could just take this and rake the wool off of the sheep, and they've sheared the sheep. And so that's one of the chores that they can do on the farm. Again, but this one is just got a little pre-made printed face, and the pack that I bought had several animals, and so inside of the shoebox were these little they're almost like straw, but they're very sturdy, and the kids can use this as a mask and pretend to be the goat while they're playing. I do have that. Let me see if I can. I think I showed this particular tray. I have another one of the paper pizza trays, and this is some play sand that can be played with, and it sticks together so it doesn't go everywhere. They can use that with their tractor, pretend to plow the field, another chore on the farm. So along with my egg counting sheet, I do have a pre-printed chore checklist, and the kids can either cut these out and pass the chores out, who has to do what, or they can just make a checklist. One last box that I created was a box for a milking cow. That's one of the books we're learning about how milk gets from the farm to the grocery store. I wrapped up a big box, and I wrapped it, I was looking for fabric, but I found a plastic party tablecloth. So I cut that up and I wrapped the box and added paper cups for legs so the kids can practice milking the cow. I have an udder down here that's made out of a rubber glove, plastic glove, and I blew it up. Another thing that you can do is to put water in it and maybe some flour to color the water, and the kids can pretend to milk the cow even more. I did create a little pail for them to milk the cow with. And there's one last thing in the box, and that is another paper box. Now, this is just a moving box. It's nice and clean. And what I did with this is I split down the side and I flipped it around to create a barn. So one of the chores on the farm is to paint the barn. And so I'm going to be brave and let my grandsons this weekend paint the barn. Because I used the tablecloth to wrap the cow, I have extra plastic covering that I'm going to use to put on the floor. I have a jar of a bottle of washable paint. I do have paint brushes. And that's the contents of my farm clay prop box. Thank you.